Hi, I'm Larry Scow. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Northern Contours. I'd like to take you on a little tour today that talks a little bit about our history, but mostly about a fairly dynamic product range that's really kind of on target for where the industries are going that we serve. Northern Contours has been in business since 1992. We've been a component provider to a number of big industry folks, primarily in the kitchen cabinet side, but we're also into commercial office. We do some architectural millwork products. We also do some healthcare and some hospitality products. We've taken our products and split them into a number of different groups as our manufacturing disciplines have grown over the years. Within that, we're probably most famous for what we do with thermofoil, rigid thermofoil, but we've also done a lot of membrane pressing of veneer components. Most recently, we have added a product line that is a product that is flat laminated and then edge banded. That's a product that we call Level. That's opened up new opportunities for us in the field of acrylics and other high gloss products. And the very newest in that range is actually textured melamine. Those are all very new and kind of cutting edge items. We take a lot of our product influence from what happens in Italy, in Germany, and a number of the European countries. And we've been relatively blessed to have a number of good suppliers and manufacturers that support our product development efforts so that we can then in turn fashion some really cutting edge products and bring them to market. Within those groups, we've tried to create palettes of product or collections of product that work very well together. And throughout the course of this little video, we're going to give you some ideas of what some of those collections might look like. I'm going to introduce you to a product range that we call Spectrum. And Spectrum is a group of veneer doors that are all slab doors, but what makes them unique is that they have been internally edge banded before we apply the veneer over the face and the back of the doors. So in this particular case, we've got a square edge door, we've got a bevel edge door, and we also have a pillow edge door. And within that group, we work very carefully with a number of veneer suppliers to bring you some of the best exotic veneers that are available in the world today. We also work quite extensively with newer technology and what's called reconstituted veneers, which are basically a man-made veneer that's been dyed to emulate a certain exotic wood, and then it's very great in terms of color consistency and in terms of the repetitiveness of the pattern. So those are some of the things we're featuring here. This actually happens to be a reconstituted zebra wood, and it's basically a pattern that will be the same lot after lot, shipment after shipment. This is a bird's eye maple. This is a quartered and figured English sycamore. One of the newer additions to this Spectrum family of products is a door that we call the Element door. The Element door is comprised of three different face pieces. It's got a left and right style along with a center panel that's actually usually horizontal to the grain of the left and right style. The reason we've introduced this particular door is that it allows us to use some fairly elaborate veneers that have kind of a wild grain going across the center, and it tames them down a little bit, because if we had all of the wild grain go all the way across the door, it's problematic for the entire kitchen to come out looking very well by virtue of having all the grain match up. So this allows us to dead end that veneer right into something that's fairly neutral and fairly pleasing. It also allows the fabricator to make the rest of their cabinet boxes in a solid domestic wood. This, for example, is a regular straight cane chair. These are 5-piece wood doors from Northern Contours, and what makes us unique in this industry is that rather than these center panels being solid glued up wood, they're actually an MDF core that's been shaped into the panel profile and then covered face and back with veneer. The value to the customer in this type of fabrication is the fact that the veneer is very color consistent, and it's going to perform better on an MDF core where the shrinkage and the expansion that you normally get in a hardwood panel is all but eliminated. In the case of this particular door style, it happens to be a mitered door, and because of the veneer panel here and the mitered construction, we've eliminated all the end grain from the door. When you go to finish these doors, they're a finisher's green. They're going to take the stain evenly because of the veneer, and they're going to look beautiful because of the color matching when the job's all done. The styling here is a bit unique. It's hard to tell unless you actually touch this, but this is rigid thermofoil, and there's actually a texture that's built right in to the embossing on the surface of the thermofoil. So this has got a very linear kind of a washed wood grain texture to it, shown here in a white and also a dark oak color. And this is all the rage in Europe right now. Texture is coming in a number of forms, from a straight wood grain look to a linen look There are a number of companies that are putting texture on different types of medium, including melamine. This probably shows the greatest example of what we try to do with our customer base in terms of giving them different materials to work with to design a project or design a kitchen. In this particular display, we have a high gloss polyester, a PET material that's been flat laminated and then edge banded. The center portion serving as a backsplash, we have what's called a super matte, a very low sheen thermofoil that we're using to kind of tie the color palette together here. And on the very bottom down here is more texture. This happens to be a textured melamine called driftwood, where it's actually impregnated with plastic, and as it's being pressed and thermally fused onto the core, it actually has a texture placed into it by the press plate. Once that's been cut to size, it's edge banded, and the entire ensemble gives you the combination of high gloss, super matte, and texture. Thanks for coming to visit Northern Contours at the AWFS show. We've got lots of exciting products always being updated. If you need the most current information, visit our website at www.northerncontours.com and look for all the best cutting edge stuff. Thanks again.